Did you know that nonverbal communication is essential to building a healthy marriage? According to Smith 2020, a healthy marriage requires you and your partner to pay attention to each other's moods and emotions. Have I learned a lot about this over the years? My husband is not a big talker, so we communicate through acts of service or affection. While this may seem odd to some, there is some reasoning behind it. He suffered hearing loss when he was in the Marine Corps because he worked on large aviation and bombs. Often he would just rather not talk. I have learned to become okay with this and learned to love how he communicates in other ways. During our marriage, I have learned to communicate through a few different ways. While most of you do not know me on a personal level, so you would never have been to my wedding, well, on my wedding day, they had us write down things that we loved about each other. What did my husband choose to speak about? He chose to speak about how I show him communication non-verbally by cooking him food. Yes, food. He knows that when he comes home, and if I'm in a good mood, that I'm cooking something on the stove. He knows that if I'm in a bad mood, he comes home and I am not cooking something. It's takeout tonight. This is a perfect example of nonverbal communication. As Alder and Proctor, page 212 states, nonverbal communication is messages expressed by non-linguistic means. In my behavior, I'm communicating how I'm feeling without the use of words. That brings me to my first artifact. I have chosen my skillet. To me, this reminds me of how I communicate with my husband. I communicate with him over food, and over the years we have developed a shared love for cooking together. Whether that be smoking something on the Traeger or cooking something inside, we have a flow and we know that our individual jobs and how we need to do them in order to create a tasty treat together. Now, you may be thinking, wow, they go through their whole day not talking? No, we still communicate. However, it's just not much small talk. We still communicate by showing each other we love each other and brushing up against each other, standing next to each other, or just looking into each other's eyes. Love is not based off of verbal communication. This is something that took me a very long time to grasp. In the beginning, I always thought my husband was upset because he did not talk much. But when I took the time to truly get to know him and peel back the layers, I completely understood. Often, when we see our spouse, we want to unload on them. Guess what happened to me today? Now for me, it was often a source of gossip, and I noticed that it was taking a toll on not only my marriage, but my mental health. He does not want to know the drama of my day, nor should I have to replay the scenarios of the day. This can be toxic. I had to think of the negativity that I was bringing into my home by just trying to fill silence with small talk. Taking a step back and realizing how effective nonverbal communication can be in relationships was a very eye-opening moment for me. Okay, enough about my personal life. Let's move on. Next artifact, my pillow. I'm going to use my pillow as an example since I can't bring my whole bed out here. Ever since I can remember, I have laid in my parents' bed when I want to find comfort. I knew that if I just wanted to be next to them, all I had to do was go in there and lay down. It was a safe space, and that by going in and laying down, I told them that I needed extra love or support. In my house now, this is the same. My husband and I co-slept with our daughter. If you don't know what co-sleeping is, it's basically when you sleep with your child in the same bed. We did this for 4 years. We had realized that it was a time for her to transition into her own bed. So for now, she's very excited. She loves sleeping in there and she feels like such a big girl. Plus we bribed her with a guinea pig. She now has 2. Wow, this is a very exciting time for her. My mom hurts. I must think back and realize that for me, my comfort comes in nonverbal communication of laying in bed. When my daughter is in our bed, I am nonverbally showing her affection. I'm stroking her hair, cuddling her, and just watching her become a beautiful child. She will often reach over, wrap her arms around me, and give me a tight squeeze. This is her telling me that she loves me and needs me. So, naturally, this is a nonverbal way of communication for us. Lastly, I'd like to talk about my favorite smelling artifact of all, my candles. Candles? Weird, I know. But did you know that this is my way of nonverbal communication when the guests come into my home? How? Well, when you walk into someone's home, what is the first thing that you notice? Do you smell the food that they're cooking on the stove? Do you smell fresh linens? Or do you smell their husband's chonies that have been hiding away in the laundry room for a week? Silly, I know, but this is how I feel that I communicate that people are welcome in my home. If they walk in and instantly feel comfort because they smell warm vanilla sugar, I know that I have communicated to them that I want them to feel welcome. Now, I know that this is an interesting one, but I wanted to think outside the box for how I communicate with others in my home that are not necessarily family. It is truly interesting to take a step back and analyze the message you are giving off to others at times. You can often set the stage for how comfortable someone feels in your home. I feel that candles give off a calming effect, and this often opens up conversation. In closing, I would like to say that all communication is not always verbal. We can subconsciously communicate with others by small gestures, such as cooking for your spouse or inviting your child into your room to watch a movie. It is important to be aware of these as they can help us build stronger bonds. Now, I know that I focused a lot on nonverbal communication in marriage. However, I think that this can ring true for many other friendships, any other type of bonds that you would like to create. Just remember to watch their emotions and their mood. Thank you.